Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating story about modern Italy and how it's weaving together its incredible history of art and culture with data and education to build its future. We're going to see how beauty isn't just something to look at, it's serious business. Okay, let's kick things off with a pretty staggering number, 29%. Almost a third of Italy's entire economy comes from what people are calling the economy of beauty. And this isn't just about tourism. Think about it. It's fashion, it's design, it's food. It's basically everything where that classic Italian tradition and quality creates real tangible value. But a number like 29%, what does that actually look like on the ground for real people? Well, to find out, we're going to start in a small mountain village where one art project is breathing new life into a whole community. So, picture this. Frosinone, a little town in the southern region of Molise. Artists are being brought in to transform this ancient mountain path, one that farmers used to walk for centuries, into a canvas. And they're all exploring this one simple but really powerful idea. What does home actually mean? And this quote really gets to the heart of the whole project. See, it's not just about making pretty art. It's about using that art to reconnect people with their sense of place, blending that deep history with what it means to live there today. Now, this idea of art and craftsmanship creating new opportunities, it goes even deeper. We're going to shift gears and look at an incredible social enterprise that's using these same principles to offer a second chance to women behind prison walls. This is the mission of a company called Made in Carcere, which means made in prison. They take discarded fabrics and, with incredible skill, turn them into high-end goods. And in doing so, they give incarcerated women skills, a paying job, and a real path forward. The impact? It's just remarkable. It has cut reoffense rates by nearly 90%. The founder, Luciana Deledan, even came up with a whole new way to measure this kind of success. She calls it BIL, which stands for Gross Internal Well-Being. So instead of just tracking money like GDP, BIL tracks human well-being and social impact. It's a completely different way of thinking about value. Okay, so these stories are incredibly inspiring, right? But they're not just isolated incidents. They're actually part of a much bigger economic trend. And the data is pretty clear on this. Investing in culture isn't just a nice thing to do, it's a really smart business strategy. I mean, just look at the difference here. Over a decade, companies that actually invested in art and culture saw their productivity grow by 75%. The companies that didn't, just 13%. That's almost 6 times faster. That is a huge competitive edge. And all this cultural energy is attracting visitors in record numbers. Last year, Italian museums saw this massive spike in attendance, way up from even before the pandemic. It really seems like the world just can't get enough of Italian culture. And it's not just the tourists who are spending money. Philanthropic foundations are also investing heavily in these local communities, giving out over €1 billion last year alone to support these kinds of initiatives. As you can see, arts and culture is a major focus for this funding, getting more than €256 million. This shows a real, genuine commitment to using culture as a driver for both social well-being and economic growth. So this all sounds fantastic. But who are the people who are actually going to drive this new economy? Well, the answer to that lies in education, where some really interesting trends are starting to pop up. For the 10th year in a row, university enrollment is up. And while economics and social sciences are still super popular, you can see there's this big shift happening towards STEM fields. That's a huge clue about the growing demand for technical skills. But here's the reality of today's job market. Not all degrees are created equal. Graduates in engineering and data science have the highest earning potential right out of the gate. And where you go to school matters too. Graduates from polytechnic and private universities often earn quite a bit more, partly because of things like smaller class sizes and better connections to industry. And this all points to a major disconnect in vocational training. Employers are desperate for skilled workers. Plumbers, mechanics, textile artisans, the very people you need for that famous Made in Italy quality. But at the same time, there's a surplus of graduates in other fields, like graphic design. This skills gap is a massive challenge that needs to be solved. So this brings us to the future, where Italy is trying to balance its incredibly rich history with all the demands of the modern world. It's this fascinating and pretty delicate dance between tradition and innovation. And probably one of the biggest questions facing Italy's creative industries is, of course, AI. I mean, can artificial intelligence really coexist peacefully with centuries of human craftsmanship? Well, surprisingly, business leaders are really optimistic about it. A whopping 87% see AI not as a replacement for human creativity, but as a partner. They see it enabling a new kind of super creativity that combines human intuition with the raw power of technology. And this forward thinking approach isn't just about business. Italy is also using technology to take on a very modern problem, figuring out how to fight organized crime online. In a move that is truly groundbreaking, Italy's Anti-Mafia Commission has teamed up with TikTok. Yeah, you heard that right. Together, they're working to identify and remove content that glorifies the mafia, creating a whole new front line in the fight against organized crime. But with all this success comes new challenges. The combination of huge crowds and everyone being glued to their smartphones is creating what one museum director called an explosive combination that's actually putting priceless works of art at risk. So, what's the solution? It's not a long list of strict rules. Instead, museums are offering a gentle guide to museum etiquette. It's basically just a reminder to be present, to appreciate the art in front of you, and to help preserve it for everyone, rather than just snapping a quick photo for social media. So, when you put all of these pieces together, from those ancient paths to AI, from second chances in prison to skills gaps in the workforce, it leaves you with a really big question. Is Italy creating a whole new model for how a nation can grow, one that's built on a truly unique blend of its incredible past and its vision for the future?